Okay, let's talk about the future. What if 2026 could be like the best year of your life? I know. It sounds like a huge claim, but honestly, the ideas we're digging into today lay out a pretty convincing roadmap for how to make that happen. The trick? The work starts right now. So what's the plan? Well, we're going to break down 6 principles that are, honestly, a little weird, a little counterintuitive, but super powerful. We're talking about something called the competence trap, then why you actually need to trade mastery for, incompetence. We'll also hit on embracing the performance dip, why recovery is as important as revenue, buying back your time, and then the big one, making yourself optional. Let's get into it. All right, let's dive right in with our first big idea, and it's a real mind-bender, the competence trap. So get this. What if the very things you're amazing at, the skills that built your career, are actually what's holding you back now? Sounds crazy, right?
And this quote just nails it perfectly. The biggest threat to your future is not your weaknesses, it is your competence. Just let that sink in for a second. The thing you're best at, your superpower, can actually become this cozy little prison that stops you from growing.
Okay, so if your own competence is the trap, how in the world do you get out of it? Well, this is where it gets uncomfortable. You have to make a choice. You have to willingly trade in your expertise for feeling like a total beginner again. I know, it sounds nuts, but it's the only way to unlock that next level.
And look at what that trade really means. It's a complete shift in who you are. The skills that got you here are all about doing the work. Being the best salesperson, solving the problems yourself. But the skills that get you there, totally different. It's about building the team, creating the sales system, hiring the problem solvers. You have to go from being the star player to being the coach.
I love this analogy they use. It makes it so clear. Think about a bodybuilder. Let's say their first skill is mastering weight loss. That means eating less, doing tons of cardio, right? But now their new goal is to build muscle. Well, guess what? The skills for that are the complete opposite. You have to eat more, train differently. You literally cannot do both at the same time. You have to let go of one mastery to gain a new one.
So what does this actually look like in practice? It's simple, but not easy. First, you've got to make a list of the things you're best at, the stuff you're known for. Step 2, and this is the scary part, you delegate them, all of them. You basically have to fire yourself from your own best jobs. Why? So you can create the space to take on roles where, you're going to be bad at first. Okay, so you've done it. You've handed off your best skills and you're stepping into something new. What happens next? Almost guaranteed, your performance is going to tank for a bit. And that brings us to our next principle. You have to embrace the dip. You have to be okay with looking dumb, because honestly, it's an absolute requirement for growth. And that feeling has a name, the dip. It's that messy, confusing, frustrating period where you just don't feel good at what you're doing. But here's the key thing you have to burn into your brain. It is a learning curve, not a failure. This is what real, meaningful growth actually feels like in the moment.
I mean, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? If you can't handle looking dumb, do not complain about being average. Wow, it's basically saying the willingness to suck at something new for a while is the entry fee for becoming excellent at the next level. Are you willing to pay it?
So how long do you have to feel like this? A good rule of thumb is to expect a 3 to 6 month learning curve for any big new challenge. Seriously, bake it into your plan. Tell your team about it. Set the expectation that things might be a little bumpy for a bit. It's normal, and trust me, it passes.
Now, getting through that dip takes an incredible amount of mental and emotional energy, which leads us perfectly into our next point. You have to start measuring your recovery as if it's revenue. We're talking about preventing burnout by protecting the most important asset you have for making good decisions, your own mind. Just think about the difference here. A tired mind? It's reactive, it's short-sighted, and it makes really, really expensive mistakes. A rested mind, on the other hand, is strategic, proactive, and makes those clear, high-quality decisions that move the needle. It's time we stopped thinking of rest as a reward and started seeing it as a crucial business metric.
And you have to remember this. Being tired costs you twice. It's so true. First, there's the cost of the bad decision itself. And then there's the cost of cleaning up the mess you just made. It's a double whammy.
So how do we fix this? Here's the game plan. Start scheduling your most important decisions based on your energy levels, not just when you have an empty slot on your calendar. Protect your peak mental hours like a fortress. And here's a big one. When you feel your energy tanking, don't be a hero. Cut the scope of your work. Pushing through is almost never the right answer.
Okay, So once you're making decisions with a sharp, rested mind, you can focus on your most precious resource of all, time. And that brings us to our next idea, buying back your time. This is all about having the guts to make those big, expensive, but totally necessary decisions now instead of kicking them down the road.
And I want you to really think about this question for a second. What is the one big decision that you know deep down you're going to have to make within the next year? You know the one I'm talking about. Maybe it's hiring a key person or making a big investment. What is it for you?
Whatever just popped into your head, go make that decision. Today. Because when you pull the trigger now instead of waiting, you're not just checking a box. You are literally buying yourself 12 months of runway, an entire year of progress.
It all boils down to that timeless piece of wisdom, right? You can always make more money, but you cannot make more time. Every single time you put off a crucial decision because you're trying to save a little bit of money in the short term, you're burning your most finite and valuable asset, time.
All right, this all leads us to our final and maybe most important principle. This is the one that really brings everything together. It's the true north, the ultimate goal of all this work. Optimize to be optional. This is such a massive reframe of what we think success is. Just listen to this idea. I knew we had made it not because I was essential, but because I was optional. Wow, the goal isn't to be the indispensable hero who swoops in to save the day. The real win is building a system, a machine that runs perfectly without you.
And that might sound impossible, but there's a process. You start by just writing down how you make decisions, the frameworks, the mental models. Then you train and empower other people to use those same frameworks to make those decisions. And that's it. That's the moment your value shifts from doing the thing to being the architect of the system that does the thing.
So, to bring this all home, if you really want to make 2026 your best year yet, you have to leave with this one very tough question. What's the one skill you're most proud of right now that you actually need to unlearn? What competence that defines you today are you willing to trade for incompetence tomorrow? Because finding the courage to answer that, well, that's where your best year truly begins.